Don't maximize every deal. Leave some money on the table, for God's sake. Hey, I'm Jim Padilla with Gain the Edge, your done-for-you sales specialist and the king of collaboration. And I'm going to share with you some keys here. Very important mindset about making deals and negotiating in sales. All right? I survived the mortgage industry purge back in 2008. I lived through all of that. And before that, in the early years, as we were in 2003, 4, 5, things were just never better. Right? We were making deals on the golf course. Literally, phone was ringing. Rates were low. Property values were high. Business was everywhere. So we didn't even have to pay attention to how well we were taking care of people. We were just maximizing every deal, right? Without going deep into this, the way you make money in the mortgage industry is you charge people points up front, or the bank pays you points on the back for making the loan work. Well, we got greedy and we started charging people up front even when we were getting money from the bank on the back end. So we were maximizing the deals. And we were doing what was in the best interest of us. While, yes, taking care of getting what they needed, but we didn't leave any room for them in the deal. We didn't leave money on the table. We could have taken less up front, right? Or we could have often taken less on the back end. But we got really good at selling the position. And too many times, people would go into the escrow officer, Jessica, who we worked with very well, and she was phenomenal at saving our behind several times. And they would be frustrated. They would show up and they didn't want to sign. But they didn't want to go through this process again. They just wanted to get the loan done. So they signed it, and then they left pretty unhappy. And we didn't get referrals, and we didn't get ongoing relationships, and we didn't get repeat business from these people. But we didn't care because business was great until it wasn't. And then the people who went out of business were the people who were living like that. The people who were taking care of people and not maximizing every deal throughout that whole journey stayed in business and survived the crush. How are you handling your negotiations? Are you trying to maximize every deal? Are you trying to get the most you can? Are you raising prices simply because it's easy to do it? Or do you have a reason? Do you have a justification for it? Right? Are you leaving money on the table? Are you putting yourself in a situation where you can allow the other person to actually feel like they got a win? Right? And I don't mean a win-win. Okay? I detest that term, a win-win. Because win-win implies equality and compromise. And when you compromise, you literally reduce yourself, and so do they. So nobody is giving their best. Nobody's receiving the best from the other person. How is that a win-win? Right? Why not give your best and expect them to give their best? And it's not going to be equal. Win-win implies equality. No two people are equal in business. Someone's always going to be giving more than the other person. How about you just get really clear about what's being delivered and what needs to be coming through on the other end? Be crystal clear about it. Okay, here's a couple of things that will help you in trying to set some rules for the games of negotiation, which is what a sales conversation is, right? You're in a negotiation. The thing you need to be crystal clear on going in is, what is the minimum level that you can accept? What's the minimum amount of return that you can get for your offering that will allow you to make profit, feel good about it, and challenge you to have to stretch to give as much as possible to over-deliver? Right? If you charge max for everything, how can you over-deliver? It becomes very difficult to over-deliver. Not to mention, if you overcharge people on the top end, you take everything you can from them, how are they going to feel good about it? You might have somebody working with you, like taking that loan and leaving, but they didn't feel good about it. Right? You're going to be under the gun. They're going to be watching you with extreme prejudice, and you better be on point and deliver like a mofo, right? Which is great, right? And I'm not saying don't charge it. You're worth, charge what you're worth. Make the money that you can. Just understand, get clear, check in with yourself. This is something that people don't do. Check in with yourself on what's the maximum value you want to charge, and are you okay with that? Do you actually feel good about it? And this is not about, upper limits and inner game, and I should be able to charge what I want. If you can't charge this much, it's because you've got value issues and money problems. No, that's not the case. Sometimes you're just not worth it. The service you're providing doesn't necessarily need to be there. And you also can be robbing the future. There's future endeavors, future relationship. How else can they grow with you? And if you maximize them along the way, they're not going to want to grow with you. They're going to want to get what they paid for and probably go on to somebody else. Don't ever compromise the long game for the short-term win. That applies in every business scenario. Don't maximize the deal, right? Don't take the Las Vegas mentality of just let it ride. Right? When I go to the craps table, it's the only game I play. I'm not a heavy gambler, but I love the adrenaline rush of the craps table. And I have a deal with myself. I always have a predetermined amount that I'm willing to lose. And I leave money on the table. I put it in and it rides. Sometimes the highest amount that I've ever won at a table setting in one shot was just a few $1,000s, just because I wasn't willing to let it ride to more. Because I felt like, well, that was a 10x return on what I just put out there. This was awesome. I'm taking it with me. Right? I didn't want to just let it ride and then lose it all. Right? So don't go all in on everything every time. Pick your moments. Be clear about the value that you want. And so the exercise that I would challenge you on right now is do some inquiry and figure out what is the minimum amount you need to win for yourself. Make a profit. Feel good about it, and stretch yourself to deliver an incredible result. And then figure out what's the maximum amount, right? Do you need to charge high and top dollar just because you can? Or is there something less than that that will give you the big bang for that high-end sale and help them feel good about it too, so that they feel like they had the win, right? My goal is always to make them feel like they got the win, because I don't need the credit. The problem is with us trying to take the win, if you feel like, yes, I won, I got a great deal out of that, usually means that they feel like they lost. So be careful. Be careful. All right, we'll unpack this more in some future videos, but take this and run with it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments here in the threads. Where's your compromise for you? And what do you think about this? Feel free to call me on my BS if you think that's the case. I'd love to hear how this shows up for you, and what is the ceiling? What's the limit that you've been stretching, and have you actually given thought to maximizing every deal and why it shouldn't be? Or why do you think it should? Right? Go change some people's lives. We'll see you soon.